the journey. Yemko.
President flight that Nigeria regional rally. So someone from Zimbabwe. Yesterday I had a talk with someone from Zimbabwe, and I said, "Oh, this is the longest serving Ghanaian president. He was in power for 19 years." And he said, "It's okay. We've had Robert Mugabe for over 40 years. It's okay." He was the longest serving Ghanaian president. He was in power for 19 years. During his long stay in office, whenever he was meeting people from the international community, the meeting happened in the new castle. Once the meeting was over, he came back to sit here. For security reasons, he could see through the first gate and the second gate. He monitored all vehicles and individuals coming into the castle. Whenever he felt his life was in danger, because he was a pilot in the Air Force, he had a helicopter stationed right in the middle of the garden. He quickly descended off his field. There were some assassination attempts on his life, but because of the position of the office, he managed to escape them all. His father is from Scotland, the mother is a Ghanaian. He died 5 years ago. Then about a month ago, the wife also died at the age of 70. He used this section of the castle. It was built by the British in 1921. By Governor Gordon. So he's also noted for building the Atumota Senior High School and the college teaching. It is one of the leading primary health care here in Ghana. So from here, we are going to the last exit point for the slaves. It is popularly called the Door of No Return.
The sky. Hands of age, hearts of flame, carving truth without a name. Through every face, through every scar, the light survives, that's who we are. Eyes that have seen 1,000 dawns whisper where the spirit's gone. Every tale a sacred key, unlocking what we're meant to be. Yeah, yeah. The journey we move. This is the journey. Come and see the song of discover, listen, learn.
Of the St. Francis Xavier Catholic Chapel. This section of the castle was built by the Portuguese in the year 1679. In 1679, when they arrived, they built this church and named it after a renowned priest back in Portugal. He was called St. Francis Xavier, so it became the St. Francis Xavier Chapel. They were only here for 4 years, between 1679 to 1683. With this castle, they were not very successful with slave trading. In 1683, the castle was sold back to the Danes and they left. 10 years later, this man here also came about. He's called Christiansborg. They hail from the inland Accra. So you really know the Ghanaians. They were warriors, they were mercenaries in those days. In those days, they were the warlords of the people along the coastal community. So we are 8 people enter the castle. People would not see us leaving. So it became a great concern to the people in the community. A report was sent to a great king called Nana Sasa Saku III. that with time they've observed that you see a lot of people coming into the castle, but you don't see them leaving. So the great king sent his nephew to come. He came, he left around the castle for several months until he was offered employment as a cook. When he finally got into the castle, he was cooking and also spying on the Danes. He was very intelligent. He could speak and understand the Danish language very fast. So upon some investigations he carried out, he realized that the people of Denmark were involved in slave trading. So he took a report back to his uncle. When he was returning, his uncle sent along 80 mercenaries. They disguised themselves as traders coming to buy gun. In those days, the Danish tradition was before you make payment for guns, you need to try or test them first. So in testing or trying their gun, then they killed all the Danes here in this castle. So there were 24-year-old governor. Nicholas Johnson was his name. Normally, gunshot goes with screaming, shouting, wailing. So when he heard of those sounds, he drew a sword from his room, came to the marketplace, only to realize that the Danish people are all killed. So he went back to his room and jumped off into the sea. He swam to the Fort Previcock, now known as the Osu Fort. It was built by the Dutch in the year 1648. Then this man entered the governor's room, went for the governor's dress. That's why he is dressed as a governor. He came out to declare himself the new governor of the castle. Unfortunately, when he took over, because slave trade was very profitable, he also continued. He continued for a year until 1694, when the Danes came back again. When he got slaves, he didn't sell to the Danes. He sold to other European countries. So they came back, had a peaceful renegotiation of the castle. They gave him 50 marks of gold. He went to Accra, his hometown. When he was leaving, he took the original keys of his castle to show his people back home that he was once a governor here in this castle. The original keys to this castle are still at the Accra Palace. They also have a museum. You pay money you pay a fee, as you done here today. You'll be taken around for a tour. Just after the Adon Bridge, on your way to the Volta region, you meet the runabout. It comes with a statue of a man with some bunch of keys and a gun in his hand. This actually is the man. He's called Christiansborg. The benches you are on, these new chairs, the cross and the drum, were brought in by the last Ghanaian president who lived there. He was Professor John Mansa. When he died, 24th July 2012, we decided to keep this item just in remembrance of him. That is why they are still there. The English we are speaking and writing are also started here in 1850 when the British bought the castle. They turned this church into a school. They started teaching how to read and write English in the then goes right here in this chapel. Just to remember the female slave dungeon.
Carving truth without a name. Through every face, through every scar, the light survives, that's who we are. Eyes that have seen 1,000 dawns whisper where the spirit's gone. Every tale a sacred key, unlocking what we're meant to be. Yeah, yeah. The journey we move. This is the journey. Come and see the song of souls, the legacy. Travel, discover, listen, learn.
So you just walk through the door of no return. Once the slave walked out, there was no way you were going back to the castle. Once they walked out, they lost their names, language, culture, identity, etc. Once they walked out also, it was the end of their stay in West Africa. In all, it is estimated that 126,000 slaves left this castle alone. It is estimated there could be more. So because the ships were so huge, they couldn't come closer to the shore. They were docked 200 meters from the coastline. They used smaller boats and canoes to transport them over. the bigger ship. During the middle passage, a lot of things also happened. Some of the slaves, because of areas they were coming from, it was the first time they had come in contact with the sea. So because they were chained together, shackled together, when the first man in front jumped, it means all those who following up will automatically also jump into the sea. They even died before getting to the bigger ship. We have what is called the Zonk Massacre. It's a British ship which had left a community in Ghana called Jamestown. They were originally going to Kingston, Jamaica. Due to navigational error, they lost their way to the Dominican Republic. Then after the captain realized that he was supposed to come back, they said they didn't have enough food for all the slaves on board. Originally, it was built to take 200 slaves, but it was overloaded with 400. So when they were returning back, 130 slaves were dumped into the sea. It is known as the Zonk Massacre. 1st August 1997, former President Rawlings was invited over to Kingston, Jamaica. They have an Emancipation Day celebration. When he returned, he also decided to celebrate something similar. In 1998, Ghana celebrated the Emancipation Day and the Panafest Festival in Cape Coast. When the festival was ongoing, two people of slavery descendants, Lady Crystal from Kingston, Jamaica, Mr. Samuel Carson from New York, United States of America, their skeletons were exhumed. They were flown to the Osu Castle as a point of return. When they got there, they were returned to the door of no return. Then it became the door of return. Significantly meant that the Africans who were taken away have been brought back home to be buried. They got buried at the Ascend Mount Slave Park.
Bare feet on the road of time, dust and dreams in every line. The sun's aflame, the sky's a drum. We walk until the story's prime. Means life goes on in Yoruba inspired chant.
A place that teaches, a place that remembers, a place that never forgets. If this story touches you, please remember to comment, share and subscribe, because some stories are never meant to go silent.
Come and see.